because it's Thursday and I'm just waiting for the stream to kick in on my end here. Waiting for that, they put a commercial at the beginning of these things for some reason. So there's that. Because it's... I gotta mute my computer. Okay. We're gonna give it about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll get started. Gonna let everybody join in. Gonna say hi to everybody who's already with us here. Wigwag gets the cookie, the Wookie cookie. And Mike H.O. Trains, how's it going? Second cookies. And James from Dundas Junction Model Railroad, third cookie. I don't know how many cookies I have, y'all. LGR FBS, how's it going? M&M Rails. Oh, Mark, by the way, in my text message there, I was totally joking. I was already there. Bubs, I just talked to you not too long ago. Thanks for joining. Canadian Locomotive Logistics, how's it going? I've got a package here from CLL. I'm going to go CLL. It seems like less than Canadian Locomotive Logistics, as I learned how to talk for the first time. We got Wigwag and Randall and Scott Rails. How's it going? John and John and John and Dave. What's up, Dave? And Mr. Dwight Curley. How's it going? And Mr. Brian Ferguson. And Mr. Roger Coleman. How's it going, everybody? Side Tracks. Bradley Ogden. And another John. I think I already said hi to all the Johns, all 50 of them. Luke of the Rail Fan, how's it going? Highland Husky Mooch Squad, how's it going? So we've got a few things that we're doing tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching already. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting night. It is Third Rail Thursday. And, of course, I'm Go Beer, Go Home. You were looking at the paper mill. The paper mill has been like something that my focus has been on for the past month. I'm really trying to pull this scene together, as Mike H.O. Trains likes to call it, a signature scene, so that when you do your photos, you do your video, and you have trains going in and out of there, it looks like a signature scene. It looks awesome. And that's what I'm going to shoot for here. It's going to take some time. I've got the first 4-5 feet that's kind of like worked out how I want to do it. And then we'll talk about the second section tonight, and we'll hopefully get some work done as well. Building placement is a huge thing here because I have, or what feels like, moved the buildings around like 50 times, trying to make sure that everything works. And that's a big thing. After my layout update that I did last week or within a week, I can't remember how long ago, but it was probably about a week ago. I got a lot of feedback and whatnot from that, and a lot of it was pertaining to the scene that we're going to talk about tonight. But before we do, hey, Trackside Mike, how's it going? Did I miss anybody? John, and John? John. All right. Well, I do have a mail call that I'm going to do. I'm going to do a live mail call for you guys as well. But first, the promo. Third Rail Thursday. I'm part of Third Rail Thursday, which happens every Thursday. And if you were around last Thursday, then you saw Tim from They Make It Like That. He was last Thursday. He always gets the first Thursday in the month, unless he calls in, out of graffiti. I get the second week, of course. That's why you're all here. Mark from M&M Rails, he's usually the third week. So he'll be next week. Go over to his channel, get the cookie, right? That's why we do this, for the cookie. And then, of course, at the end of the month, we have GVO After Dark. A big focus this month, and you're going to see a lot of this come up quite a bit, is the Springfield show, the Amherst show that's happening at the end of the month on January 27th and 28th. I'll be there. I'll be there with Trackside Mike and the good people of Otter Valley. And of course, we'll have a bunch of YouTubers that are going to be there as well. Apparently, we're all meeting at the Mini Prince booth, which is literally right next to us. So you won't be able to miss any of the Canadian action there while you're in the US. So, you know, come by, say hi. A lot of you, I've never seen your face before. So if I look like I have no idea who you are until you tell me what your channel name is, I'll just have a confused look. But I'll be happy to see you either way. Don't forget to ask for stickers. I will have stickers with me, and because you're meeting me in person, I get to hand you a sticker. So, and those are exclusive. I didn't mail these ones out. The only person who has gotten one that I mailed one to was actually Tammy and Ray. We know Tammy and Ray. They actually sent me what feels like $100 bill. No, I'm just joking. They sent me a card or a letter of some sort. So I'm going to try and open this up. Whoa. Without ruining the sticker. We all know Tammy and Ray. It looks like a Christmas card. And this just showed up today. Probably because of the mail being not great. Oh, we've got puzzle pieces. Well, that looks like it's 3D printed. That's cool. And then there's a sticker in there. It says, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Tammy and Ray. Well, that's very nice of them. Thank you so much. And the puzzle pieces, which, of course, if you guys don't know, puzzle pieces are kind of like the logo for autism. So the more you know, right? Thank you so much. They bring a lot of awareness to their channel and the community, which is very cool. So the other package I have, which has been noted as cruelly packaged, not by myself, but from Canadian Locomotive Logistics. And I know what this is, but you don't know what it is. So I'm going to open it. And you're going to get to see it. Now, I'm not going to use it tonight because I have no idea yet how to use it. Should I be using a knife for this? You know what? I'm going to use a knife for this. It'll be fine. I don't think there's anything right at the top. I'm going to cover up all these addresses because I don't know whose they are. Except for mine, of course, but I'm still going to cover that one up. Dang! If I didn't know what it was, I would have been like, oh my gosh, it's a Scale Trains locomotive. Whoops. No, he's totally into NS, which is why it's an NS loco. But it's not a loco. Well, it is and it isn't. I'm going to show you here if I can get this open without hurting anything. He was worried that it would show up damaged. And so far, everything seems to be in one piece. Except for the foam, which is in 1,000,000 pieces. I don't know if there's a proper way for me to be doing this. So I'm giving it my all right now. This is me giving it my all, in case you've ever wondered what that looked like. What can it be? What can it be? I gotta take out all the foam. And I'm stacking it right here because I'm gonna have to put it back at some point in an orderly fashion. I'm gonna turn it over. Okay. Whoops. Oh, and it's taped closed too. Neat. Okay, so how do I do this? I'm gonna half open it. You guys, do you guys know what it is? Have you any idea what it is? Any guesses before I get this thing out of here? Because it's no fun if you already know. This is so cool. So weird. Well, it's definitely not a scale trains locomotive. Darn. It's actually, whoop. It's a camera car. And this is the little controller for the camera car. So, I imagine all these wheels go on here, like so, except for that one. There we go. Can you guys see that? Of course you can. And you have a locomotive, push it or pull it, and you can film. You film whatever, which is so cool because these here, which is normally what I have on a car, you know, like a well car, you can see the size difference just by doing this, right? Like this goes down, right? If you're going in a tunnel or whatever, there's the little camera there, very small. And then, of course, controlled by your remote control. There's your power, record, and whatnot. And you can put an SD card in here somewhere, which I'm going to have to figure out, because I don't know. But I can record video and whatnot, and I can do a whole layout thing. And I plan on doing that. And then, yeah. So that'll be cool. I can't wait to do that, because it means I'll be able to do an entire layout tour just by pushing this along, and hopefully it can navigate my curves and whatnot, and there's no issues there. And then we're gonna see this thing work up close and personal. Now, if you've never been to Canadian Locomotive Logistics channel, basically he has the ability where you can run trains on his layout. So the video footage goes from the car to the camera, or sorry, from the camera. So it goes from the camera to the car, and then it goes from there to his computer, and then you can control the locomotive on your end, and basically that's how you see where everything is, right? By, you know, pushing this along, and then, you know, you can go around his layout, which is really cool. And you can do operations. He sets up operations sometimes. So go check him out. Go check out his channel. Very cool. That's so cool. I can't wait to try it out. But I'm not going to attempt that live. That seems like, you know, something I'll do when there's less pressure, right? When I know what I'm doing. So that's pretty cool. Thank you so much. I'm going to move this stuff down here. I gotta keep it all organized so that I don't lose any of the foam. Okay, so I'm gonna push that back because I don't want it to get any damage. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna do some work on the actual layout tonight. Hopefully that's okay. You guys get to see me work on the layout because that's fun. Other than that, so most anticipated video that everyone, well, not everyone, I mean, anyone who's wanted one has asked if I'm going to do a review or if I'm even purchasing the Bachmann Charger and Venture car set. I do have it. I do have the cars. It's been quite a roller coaster of emotions trying to get this thing off the ground. And you know, working and stuff. Everything's good now. Everything is filmed, and definitely a big thanks, obviously, to Mike, because he made sure that I got this set. Bubs, for helping me with a whole coupler situation that you're going to hear about in the video. And, of course, Hobby Tech in Toronto, that got me these brand new couplers within 24 hours, which is awesome. Yeah, British couplers. You can't just get them anywhere. And yeah, just it's going to be a good video. It's going to be a long video. but it's an overall view and review, and of course some issues as well along the way, of the whole set, except for the cap car, which should be here in about, whenever, I don't know, a year, unless sooner. So watch for that video tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's going to go live tomorrow. And then, yeah, you get to see what I've been struggling with the past, week or so. But, yeah, and I think it was was it Derek that asked me? I can't remember. Hey Floyd, how's it going? Randall, how's it going? If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But yeah, we'll switch over. We're going to do some work here because we got so much to do. So like if you've seen the layout update recently, you'll have seen all the work that I've done here, redoing everything. I extended this out and I added a road and a crossing. I've got all that ballasted, and there's turf down there, and it goes like all the turf goes up to the road. But it cuts off but right down by that camera, my other camera at the other end there. I don't know if you can see that. Literally like right there. And yeah, so today I'm going to do some stuff with this. I have to make the cracks in the concrete there stand out a little bit. So there's two things I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is some wash. I'm going to add some black, I call it black ink because it's basically going to be black paint that's extremely and excessively watered down. If I can find where I put that, oh, there it is. And we're going to kind of bounce back and forth here because there's a few things to do. I might even do some soldering tonight. So this is just acrylic paint. So it's nothing too crazy. And don't forget, every Sunday I go live. We do the Sunday brunch kit builds. We were working on the chocolate factory for the entire month of December, and we're still going because it's such a big kit and there's so much to it. I don't imagine we have too much longer to go with that. So make sure if you need to catch up, there's a whole playlist of the Sunday brunch builds if you're interested. Hey Chris, model train aficionado. How's it going? And you can see that it absorbs right up into that. So I'm going to be drawing some lines here with the ink, just making them more predominant and more visible. Now I do technically cut lines into this. So what's going to happen is that you're going to see, or those cracks are going to technically be highlighted with the black ink here. Because the water is going to go into the crack and it's going to fill up the crack to make it look more darker. You can kind of see here. Whoops. Can I do this? There we go. Okay. Till I knock the camera over, right? Now a lot of people ask me what I use for my roads and what I use for this. So I use a combination of things. When I do sections where I have to raise it up, especially like an area like this, because I need it to come up to track level. I will use foam core board because it's cheap and it's easy to work with. Mostly those two reasons. But it's also the same height as code 83. If you got code 100, it'll probably go right above it. Or, sorry, below it. But that's okay. Oh, even Tim's asking. Yeah, that was probably a joke. But yeah, so I use the foam core board, and then I just put drywall plaster over it. And that generally will dry. And also I can make it crack and whatnot as well to kind of give it the aged look. But see, there's like a place like this right here where there is cracks a little bit there. So I just put the a little bit more in on something like that, and it'll absorb into it. And it just gives it a better look. Now, if you remember, and if you have been here long enough, you'll remember the first time I did this. It's not like a quick job. It's not for those who do not have patience. But if you stick it out, you get a really good looking concrete finish. Now you can even change the color of each individual square here. I haven't done that yet, but you could. If I do have time, which I should have time, I'm going to also do some grass coming up from in between some of these spots. And I'll show you how I do that. Hey Keith, how's it going? I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most with Springfield, just like any train show or stuff like that, it's all the announcements and new products that usually get announced at these things. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I feel like Christmas was kind of a bust as far as, me getting any announcements that, that I want to hear about. So now I have to rely on late January announcements. do any of you know for sure if you're going to Springfield? Let me know in the comments section. I'd like to know, just in case, so I know to look for you. Always happy to meet the people that take the time out of their day to show up for my lives and hang out. So despite the fact that this is very, I'll call it tedious, besides the fact that this is very tedious, eventually you get somewhat of a nicer looking, because that's what it looks like beforehand, right? Very plain, very boring. And then it ends up looking like this, which is a little bit more, like big concrete squares. But originally this had started because I had Bubs come over, and I think that was, it was supposed to be a GVO after dark night, but because I didn't have actually anything planned, Bubs had his new RS18Us, which were very nice, by the way. And, he was kind of traversing the layout and trying things out, which is good because this is how you know if things work, if it's doable, right? And one of the things that kept happening, and no fault of Bubs, because this wasn't his fault, but it's something I had noticed, and it's that reaching and getting some of these cars in this section was proving to be a little difficult. And it is possible to have too much going on. So I removed a lot of it. And it's simply just to improve the overall usage of this. So that if you need to, disconnect cars or anything, you're not bumping things or knocking things over or, anything like that. When I run the layout, it's different than when other people come to run the layout. And these are the things that you have to kind of take into consideration when you're building a layout. How are people going to traverse your layout? Again, it wasn't Bubs' fault for any of that. I know I mentioned his name, but it was me. It wasn't him. It's just how I had everything set up. So, he's not to blame. have to make more lines here. I forgot to make more lines. Well, at least I'll be able to show you how to do that. Or how I do it anyways. Now, for a lot of you who have already, well, for those who watched the Christmas special that we did last month, I have started sending out your prizes. If you're yet to receive your prize, don't fear. You will have it very soon. It's just a process, that's all. And plus, we keep getting hit with snow, so not totally eager to leave my home. But I have gotten some out already. Of course, those who won the gift cards, all I had to do was send it as a text message. And I think those guys have already spent theirs. Just doing a bit more darkening of the middle here, because this might have some locomotives parked on here. I'll do some more weathering to it later, but essentially I just want to put some of this color to it to darken it. Maybe there's like oil that had fallen on there or something else, I don't know. But this is where you'd see a lot of that build up the most. Usually it's right down the middle. So the reason for repainting this whole thing, though, because I literally just redid the middles here and of course added down there. But the reason for that was because I was trying to match the gray that I already had. And of course I couldn't. So I just made it a little bit lighter. And then I repainted the whole thing just to kind of change it a bit, but also make it all the same color. I think I did all right. I'll have to go over this with some powders and whatnot after. Doesn't take long for it to dry either. And the imperfections that are in this actually help to kind of guide where I can add extra cracks and whatnot here, because they will gather the black paint here, or the black water, and it'll more or less just gather in these sections, and it'll highlight it that much more. Now, if it's new, the new stuff, you probably don't have to do as much cracking. But some of the older stuff probably took a fair amount more hits to it. Of course, you got trucks rolling through here, so you'll want to do like tire marks and whatnot as well. And a little happy bird. Or is it a little happy tree? A little happy tree. Here we go. It's a Bob Ross thing. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about. Now you'll notice as well, as I'm slowly making my way around here. Hey Anthony, how's it going? That I've got a cool little fence here. Whoops. I use the word cool very loosely because it's one that I made. I mean, I'm sure it gives it a bit of realism because I made it, by hand. Technically, it's a Woodland Scenics. Or not, is it Woodland? No, sorry, it's not Woodland Scenics. Walthers. Okay. The Woodland Scenics ones are way better. Anyways, so, yeah. Walthers. It's a Walthers fence. It's a fence kit. And they just give you poles and whatchamacallits? Stringers. Stringers are things that go from, but they're long. So it was like about that long. And you have to snip it. So I made this whole fence, and then this gross mesh stuff that they give you too. I don't like that mesh. But I don't have any window screen stuff on me, so sometimes you got to use what you're dealt with. So in this case, it was whatever mesh they gave me. That's the mesh I had to use. And I'm working on it. Look, building it up for sure. I think I have to trim along the bottom though, because it's very janky. But I had to put all that. I put that all into foam core. So I put it like I would put a hole in it with a pin, and then I would put the post in. And it would hold it upright. And then from there, basically, it's just a matter of adding your stringers and gluing them in place. But I've always had issues with it. So I decided the easiest way to do it is to weave it. So the wire goes like from the outside, inside, outside, inside. And it basically goes, wrapped around. And then what I did with the bottom is that I went the opposite direction. That way, it doesn't bend the fence one way and it doesn't bend the fence the other way. This one turns it this way and the bottom one turns it that way, which makes it straight, more or less. So that's how I did that. If you don't look too closely at it, it looks okay. So if you look at it from far away and you don't get right in there and critique it, then I'm good. But until you do. I mean, I did take a couple of photos. You might have seen them in the layout update video, where I had some box cars there and whatnot. If I cross the whole paved area, do I get kinged? Looks like a checkerboard. A little bit. A little bit. It'll be alright, I think. Because they're not perfect by any means. I think once I add the grass, it'll look a little bit better. See, I had a building right here, and you can kind of see where the outline of it was. It was right here. And the box cars that are on this side, it's like you can't even see them at all. You can't, uncouple them and whatnot. So it's very difficult. Now, you can see everything. It's more wide open. Which, to me, is a lot better. Because you want to be able to see your cars and you want to be able to know. You want people to be able to find their cars if they, are doing some operation type stuff. Now, also, if it does seem very bright while I'm doing this, don't worry. When it dries, it's not as dark. It does lighten up a bit. It's just supposed to create a shadow, more or less. So the areas that are deeper will maintain more of the color. Yes, my queen. Now I do have the little guard shack and whatnot that'll go in and whatnot after. That's like bottom of the priority list right now, though, because it's in the front. There's a lot more that I want to do at the back of this thing, but because this is such a big dominant piece here, I definitely wanted to show it some TLC and get it fixed up. Sorry I'm so quiet. That's what happens when you're like overly focused. I shouldn't be overly focused though. I should just do. The lines are already made for me, so. Again, this is just how I do it. I'm sure there's many different ways to do this, but there might be someone who says, I want to try that. So that's why I'm doing it. Now, I also had another idea, because I need to get some of those sodium chloride cars, even just a couple. Put the, so the cars come in here, drop them here, and have the tanks and stuff, and the piping right in this section on this side of the fence. Because that would be a perfect spot to put all that. Instead of just having all box cars here. Add the sodium chloride. I think people asked me if I was getting any of those too. I mean, I had to pick sodium chloride cars, which will probably be in stores for a while, or the Via Charger. Tough call, I know. But I think I made a good choice regardless. Now I'll probably have to weather this up a little bit worse when I go to actually weather this with the powders. Because if I'm adding chemicals, I gotta see what those chemicals will actually do to concrete, or what the effects of it is. Because if you get it on the concrete, because you do, there's splashing and stuff, and sometimes there might be a leak or an overflow of something, so. I think I have most of this done. I probably just have to go down the center of the track there just to do that. I think that if I end up getting the GP9s from Rapido, they're probably going to be my workers for the paper mill here. They'll handle local traffic. I think that would be pretty cool. I wonder if anybody knows, because they've been adding like that whole keep alive thing or stay alive to a lot of their locomotives recently. And I'm wondering, did they say that the GP9s are going to have stay alive? The Rapido version of keep alive? Easy there, Wigwag. Yeah, if anybody knows, and I think if anybody knows, I'm gonna guess that Mike might know. I think Mike will know if it has the stay alive. He's probably heard somewhere. I'd say Brandon would know, but he's more of a CP guy than a CN guy, so he probably hasn't been following that thing like we have. Unless he does know, because he's still knowledgeable. Staying alive. Well, I mean, like, I think they put a version of that staying alive thing in the D10, right? So it has that. And I don't mean that they, push function 23 and you hear, you know what I mean? So it's the, to help, like with a capacitor or whatever. Because that would be cool. And just a reminder, the charger update video, or review video, comes out tomorrow. Whether I like it or not. Mo Power, Keep Alive on board, and though they announced, I thought they announced. I thought they said they might have said something about it too, but I don't want to say, oh yeah, it's got Keep Alive, and then it doesn't. You know what I mean? I like to give correct information. And if I don't know, then I'm going to find out. This ain't no fake news. Imagine if I did a train channel where it was all fake news. So Rapido's doing the P42. And I don't know, what else would be fake? Scale Trains buys Atlas. Fake news. Although they've been buying a lot of different things lately, so I mean, there might be truth to that if it actually happens. Then I'll be like, whoa, I predicted that. Kind of like whenever The Simpsons predicts something. I don't know if anybody here sees all that stuff. Dodge Charger? No, Via Charger. Whoops. Wish I had a Dodge Charger. That'll be my retirement car. Me talking about retirement. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Your Canadian train plays O Canada. I feel like that might have been something you did as a custom project. I don't remember any train retail that played O Canada as a function. Got the log driver song, that's about it. It's probably about the and the Welcome to the X. Oh, Canada would be cool. You know, did you guys ever see the GVO After Dark live show that we did where we talked about functions and we made up our ideal function list? And how, like, you know, you got like passenger trains But they don't even play passenger train announcements. Like, how lame is that? You'd think that passenger trains would come with sounds of passenger stations. Anyways, I think we might have the ultimate locomotive with the best sounds and I have absolutely no problem with any of these sounds. But you'll have to tune in tomorrow. Shameless plug. You're already watching my channel anyway, so I can do that. I feel like I have some new subscribers too. So if this is your first time here, we do this, every Thursday. There's a couple of us that do this little ditty called Third Rail Thursday, hence the name Third Rail Thursday there. And we go live every Thursday night, usually for 8 o'clock. And we're always doing something. We'll be running trains. We'll be working on the layout. Tim does a lot of graffiti and weathering, which is cool too. I tend to switch it up every so often. Like, obviously this time I'm working on the layout. Last time we ran trains. This when we had Bubs over. We ran the RS-18s. So, yeah, I try to switch it up, And this is where we landed this month. Sometimes I even put in the chat there, what do you want to see? Or not in the chat, but I'll make a poll early on in the day. And you vote on what you want me to do, what you want me to work on. And people partake in that. And I always follow through. That's why I never put options to jump off a bridge or, something crazy. Because they'll pick that one. Oh, they'll pick that one. Who knows? One day I'll put weather a loco. And then everyone's going to be like, weather a loco. And I'm going to be like, but I don't know how. Not that I don't know how. I just... it scares me. I know everybody's had this conversation at least one point or another. It's like, dude, you paid like $300, $400 for that thing. Why are you going to make it look like it cost you 50 cents? Tim would say it's because they make it like that. Okay. So I need to grab... I've got my knife here somewhere. My knife went here. And I just got to grab my ruler. Hang on a second. Because we got to make some lines. The 1967, the Centennial train was at the CNR and its horns play O Canada. It was painted a purple color, much different than CNR and CPR F units. The Centennial? There was a, what was that train where, they took an F7 from CP and an F7 from CN. The Confederation train. Is that what you're talking about? Or is that different? Is the Centennial different than that? Because that's a cool train too. The whatchamacallit? Whatever it's called. You guys want to see something cool? Come with me. Check this out. Look at this. She doesn't play O Canada, but she definitely get a whistle. Just missing that locomotive at the end. Dang it. It's a nice one. She looks nice. What? Yeah, I was pretty sure I already cut these lines, but I guess I did not. It's the same train you're saying? Yeah, I was waiting for, remember when Rapido announced that? They're like, we're gonna do the whatchamacallit train, and you get, it's supposed to come with, 2 F7s. One is in the style of CN, one's in the style of CP. And then a steam generator car, which they hadn't even put out their steam generator car, like the new one, at that time yet. So we were all like, yes, we're getting steam generator cars. And then on top of that, the thing of, you know, coaches or whatever car it is that they were going to do with that. And then an extra set of cars, which were even nicer than the purple ones. They were like some sort of, well, it was white, and then there was all these colorful triangles all over it. It was so cool. And I'm like, I cannot wait to get that. But of course, I don't think pre-orders panned out for the pre-sales of that. And it flopped. I was like, that's ridiculous. Why? There should be CN and CP guys that are all like, yeah, I want that. But didn't happen. Did not happen. Very disappointed. I was so disappointed when they had canceled that. But they didn't publicly cancel it. Like, there was no notage anywhere saying, yeah, by the way, we didn't get enough numbers. At least I didn't see anything like that. And I'm usually pretty on top of that stuff. It's just they stopped promoting it. They swept it under the rug. When you asked them about it, they, you know, giggle a little. They're like, ha ha ha, that train. So, probably based off of pre-orders, it didn't happen. That's why pre-ordering is very important, especially for you N-scalers. You know, there's a lot of N-scale projects that get canceled solely based off the fact that there's not enough traction. It's sad, but it's real. It does happen. So just make sure you pre-order. And if you're worried about cost, well, just remember, if you're pre-ordering something now, it won't be out for a year. So that gives you time to save up your pennies and, you know, hopefully be able to fulfill that pre-order. Yeah, I feel bad sometimes because it's like, I know like there's some people who are like, I really wanted that too, and there was just not enough pre-orders. It's like, well, They could have still done it, but they didn't get enough. It happens. It totally happens. Okay. So, the next thing I want to do here... Hey, Robin, how's it going? Did I miss anybody? Oh, there's probably more people there. The next thing I want to do, something I have not done before, although I've done, very similar. Where can I go? Where can I put you that you will be able to see this? How about right there? That's perfect. Awesome. Thanks. So sometimes concrete, it breaks, and sometimes grass grows up in between the cracks. It happens. They make it like that. Sorry, Tim. I think every time I say that, I have to send him $1 or something. So basically, yeah, what happens here, if I can find my glue, there it is. So what happens is that grass grows in between the things here. Yep. So I'm just going to grab what I feel is a good thing to spread. I mean, I could use... Will that work? No, I don't like that. I could use the rounded end. But will it work? Shoot, we're going to try this anyways. Okay, so I've got this stir stick here. And I've got my white glue. And I put a little bit of white glue on the end. Where's there a decent crack here? So obviously you don't want to put it right on, in the middle. You want to put it right along the crack. And I guess the more overgrown, the more you'll see this. But this isn't going to be super overgrown. This is just highlighting it in some parts here. And we'll see how it turns out. And if it turns out all right, then, that's what we'll do. Oh, did my camera die? Boo! Did it? Which one is it? This one? Did this one die? Into a black screen. It lost its connection. Oh well. Okay, give me a second and I'll switch it out. Hey Taylor, how's it going? We are doing some cool artsy stuff here. And right now, I am basically taking white glue and putting it in the cracks of some of this concrete here. I'm going to do a tiny bit more. This stuff takes forever to dry, but at the same time, because it's very light, you kind of want to hurry up when you do it. Okay. Let's try this. This should be fun, yeah? So I don't know what I have in here, but I want to do just some small grass. So I've got the 2mm light green, and I've got 2mm regular green. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of both. So I'm just filling up my hopper right now with some grass, and I never use just one color. I tend to do a mix of two or more. And in a case where, you know, in case where sorry, I'm shaking. Concentration. Okay. In case where I have like a larger area, you know, you'll use different lengths as well. I'm just going with the smaller stuff here for now. I'm giving it little light shakings over this. And we're going to use our little vacuum afterwards to pick up whatever we don't use. Now there's another thing I want to try, but I think that it might be for another day. So I want to do some static grass, but I want to do it on a metal sheet. And then when it dries, you can kind of lift it off the metal sheet. Let me get my vacuum. You know, I get a message like once a week about this little vacuum telling me how much it sucks. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Of course it sucks. It's a vacuum. And I just put it right back into the hopper. Sorry if that's like crazy loud for you. I'm just trying to clean up here, you know. And you can kind of see already where the grass is sticking. The trick is, though, don't look at it that close up. You'll have to come back here and kind of see it like this. So you can kind of see how that looks. So not only do you have the black ink that's highlighting cracks and stuff, but you're also going to have some of the greenery coming through. And you want to do that throughout. Again, this is another one of those things that, yeah, it takes time, but like, you know, kind of worth it if you, you know, can pace yourself, or if you can, you know, give it a shot. I know it's not always easy. The stuff is, like, especially if you've never done it before, very intimidating. You just want to use a thin edge. You can use a paintbrush. Just make sure that it's small enough to not spread all over the place, because you don't want to obviously do the entire sidewalk. That's why I'm kind of using this. And believe it or not, this is actually fun to me. Like, doing all this stuff. Love doing this. This is like my bread and butter. If I could just do this, I'd be set. Unfortunately, there's wiring and stuff too. Darn. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Talon. But yeah, so it you know, like I said, it's not a lot, but it's a little detail that, you know, you'll be driving a train by this, or even if you place some trucks or something on here, you do a little trackside thing where you have box cars pulled up. You know, different little scenarios like that. Put some people working at the box cars. And when you go to take that picture, man, you're gonna be like, woof. You know? Because you're like, I did that? It's the silliest little thing. How the heck did I do that? You know? See if I can do this again. And you're keeping it low, but you're not rubbing it onto the... Whoops, I gotta pick up that wire. And I just shake back and forth a little bit, sometimes little circles. Where else did I go? I went up here. Experiment with different lengths of track. Lengths of track. Experiment with different lengths of the static grass. You know, run your just do this, and this will stand the grass up. I don't have much space to work with here. Either way. So these are all little techniques that you pick up time to time. I mean, there's a different variety of channels and whatnot that I watch. And most of them are about those details. Once this really dries, you could probably take a rail vacuum over it. Get all that extra stuff, but this stuff here I can save. You know what I mean? Like this stuff here. Hey. Okay, here. Yeah, you can get that whole sock thing and the pantyhose and the thingamajig. So that's just a start right there. And to kind of show you a little bit further, because I'm like that, you know, just kind of because this guy's not really weathered or anything, but gotta lose that bottle too. Hang on. Whoop. Yeah, when you're looking at a scene like that, and then let's say, you know, you put some guys going from the truck or something to do something else or whatever. Maybe he's pulling up to a box car. Maybe I put a box car there. It'll definitely improve just how something looks just by adding a little extra. This will clean up. Like, so as far as static grass, basically it, well, I use the Woodland Scenics, like Woodland Scenics anything. They've been my best friend when it comes to learning how to do this stuff. So I use the Static King, which is this here. I've got the lid off the hopper right now, but this is the Static King, and then this is the static grass I get. Again, depending on what you need, and I always mark it with a piece of tape and the size, because the top part, the part that you take off, that has all the information. So right now I'm using 2mm light green and 2mm medium green. In areas where it's overgrown, I'll go up to 4, usually 4mm. And then some other areas, I could even use, like for the really big stuff, I'll use even 7mm. But normally always just Woodland Scenics. And what's this thing? Oh, no. It's all good. Saved it. This thing here you're asking about. So this is, I mean, that you can use that, or some people use a pin. They'll attach a pin, and this is your ground for the static. So as long as this is, you know, usually if this is wet, you put it in the wet a little bit. But for me, doing this here, none of this is wet except for the actual glue itself. So that's the only thing that's actually wet here. But most of the time, you know, I use a combination of isopropyl and a few other things. But yeah, this truck isn't even that detailed. I like it, but it's not even that detailed. I've got this truck here. I don't know who makes this truck, but then I've got a trailer from Mini Prints that I put behind there, and then there's a horse, and then there's hay in there. I don't know if you can see that. Very, very tiny stuff. But I use the dead grass or the almost yellow grass in there for that, and that's Woodland Scenics as well. But yeah, this piece here, it's just going up here. I always keep it here for some reason. I think the person's checking on the horse. That's the whole scenario here. So they pulled off to the side, and yeah. Eventually, I want to put a fence here, like just a dummy fence to kind of block this off or finish off this scene and cap off that scene there. Have that as a turnaround. Have this as a turnaround, more or less. Dead end. But we'll see if and when that happens. For down here. So I like how that looks. I'm happy with it. Let's do a bit more. And we'll kind of keep moving along here. And I would go as close to the rail even as possible, if it is possible. And you can see I already have my yellow lines down. So there's that. I'm not going onto the rail, but I'm putting it almost right next to it. As long as it does not disturb the cars rolling through here, I do not care. I'll just make sure that if I get any on the actual track or the rail, just to make sure I clean it off. Because there is a bit of glue there. I wonder if we can make this camera work again. And I'm just going to end up repeating this multiple more times as I go along here. But I did want to kind of show you roughly how I do this. This is probably the only documentation of it. But yeah, so we've got a lot of this is done. You know, you can obviously see grass comes up through the cracks. You know, up there, kind of along the rails a bit. Obviously got to clean that up still. But I'm going to do that throughout, of course, like this big section here, and, you know, sort all that out. But yeah, it's fun. Just take your time with it, and you know, you'll get it done. Okay, so the next part, because as much as I want to work on this part all night, I don't. I got to do some stuff down here, and we're going to talk about this stuff down here. So I can totally bring both of these down here now, because camera's back online. Okay, so this is kind of where we come down to, because honestly, you know, this is the general direction, right? You gotta finish all this off. The fascia finishes there, the scenery finishes there, but I got a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So I really want to, you know, take this time to kind of move things around, right? Like, so this is the guard office that goes over here, and this is the guard building. So I'm just going to put those back. Now I have this building as a receiving area, or shipping and receiving, and this is generally where that was located. I like it because it's nice, and I put all that work into it, and I've got the green lights along there. But this is probably coming out. The one thing that does not make sense is having mainline track and these facing it. So this is coming out, and that's probably the first thing to really leave this area here. But there's lots going on with it here that I need to kind of remove. So there's all these lights, and you can kind of see, I'll show you here as I remove this. That's in there tight. Now everything's hot glued, so it's not permanent. Thank goodness, because, you know, I like to reuse things. So this here, this is the Woodland Scenics light hub set. And this is kind of how I do some of my buildings sometimes, right? Especially if I have a lot of lights. Like all these green shrink-wrapped ones are all the green lights for the front. And then I've got another light that goes into the office here to light that. And then I've got a wire here, if I can find out where it goes. There it is. And it goes into that. And because this wire is so small, and this is an issue a lot of people have with these wires. Look at this. So I don't even know if you can see this wiring because it's so small. If you can see that, all the more to you. But when you get the lights, like the gooseneck lights, same thing with street lights, street lamps, this is the wire you get. So I soldered it to a thicker gauge wire because they eventually go into this thing. And you cannot put these little wires into it. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. It's terrible, actually, if I'm being honest. Just because it's so small. So basically my fix for that is just using a thicker wire, and it holds way better. Way better. But this has to be removed because it's not going to go there. So I'm bringing it down to the bottom. That then frees up these two. Me first. No, me first. There we go. Okay, there's one, and there's two. Okay, so those will hang down there. If I need to put lighting here, at least I already have those. That goes with this. Oh, you know what? You were looking out through there, so... Oh well. Yeah, wrong. I learned that after I saw the light on the front. Either way, we'll come back over to this one. So, yeah, so this area here, there's a big building that's going to go there. But I want to repaint it and everything first before it goes back in. And that basically goes right here. But while this is clear, because this doesn't happen too often, in fact it hasn't happened since, since I put all the buildings in, I'm going to drill some extra holes for feeders, because I avoid dropping feeders. I avoid all electrical anytime I get a chance. So that already has feeders, so that's good. Where is the next set? So I should put sets here and here and here, because I want to make sure that these are good. I probably don't need all of them, but and the only reason why I say that, why I don't need all of them, is because I do have, like, I have feeders here and everything goes in and out of this thing okay, but it's going to be in case, the off chance, what if the, connection is not good or good enough. So that's why I'm doing this. I want to make sure it's bulletproof, basically. And this is the wire I use for my layout. I use this for my, literally most things. Like my feeders, I use it for my bus wire. This runs all throughout, and it's 100 feet of 20 gauge. Yeah, it's 20 gauge. And looking at under here, it should be the red on the front, like this, and the white in the back, like this. And this is another reason why I haven't closed it up yet, because I want to make sure that all this is good as well. Okay, so right there. How many am I doing? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it just the 4? Yeah, because this covers up to here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's do 6 and 6. These are terminal strips. A lot of you will have seen these before at some point. I order a bulk lot of these because they're very handy. 12 long, right? It's rubber, so I can cut it in case I'm making, in this case, a positive and a negative. Mind you, I can leave it all as one and then just rope them off as individual pieces, which is what I'll probably end up doing anyways. So I'm gonna do that first because I totally forgot. Okay, so I make little pieces like this. That's probably about like 3 or 4 inches long. And I'm gonna need to make 5 of them. And I'm just using the previous one to measure the next one. And then I take the end off. So I strip the end. And I just keep repeating this over and over again. And then what happens is that I'm going to have one half of this is positive and one half of this is going to be negative. So I'm going to loosen this. Oh, that's already loose. Duh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm starting at the halfway point here. And maybe you need a camera that's not as close up so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Thanks, John. I actually got this one from Dave Co. He got it for me as actually a Christmas present because he came over one time and he started stripping the wire with his teeth because he did not like the one that I had. And he's like, oh man, this thing is horrible. So then, yeah, at Christmas time, he's like, surprise, Shorty, got you a stripper. Wire stripper, that is. But yeah, so good on him for helping me out like that. And honestly, this thing has made my life like super easy. Like, look at that. Couldn't ask for a better wire stripper. So I do it like this. So that's how I make my jumpers. Obviously I put 2 and then I'll tighten that up. Just holding that all in place. And then I jump it to the next one. Just like that. And now I've got 3. So if I put the power into this one, it's gonna go out these 2 as well. And this is kind of how I do this all around my layout, especially because I've got double mainline going through most of it. So I need to add all these power feeders and all that all the way around. And then I connect it with one bus all the way around. Now, obviously, there's many different ways to do this as well. Again, this is just the way I do it. I am not a professional wiring guru, but I know the basics, and sometimes the basics are all you need to get going and get started. And of course, eventually I'm going to want to learn some advanced stuff. I should get some of the white ones too. So I got to do the same thing with the white. It's not just the red ones. And if you guys are wondering why red and white, why, why would you get red and white wire? And my reply to that, my rebuttal, if you will, is that it's really easy for me to remember. So black and white are like negative colors, right? And then red is my favorite color. So red is the positive and the white being the negative. And that's how I know my layout. Again, be it right, be it wrong. You guys have seen trains go around my layout a number of times. So can't be wrong if it works. Whoops. Also, it was a great price for this wire, and go to Home Depot and it's like they have a whole bunch of them. They never are out of stock of these. So there's that too. For those who don't want to buy a giant roll, you can just get, 100 feet, work through it, and then get another 100 feet and work through that. But 100 feet goes a long way. So don't let that stifle you. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it goes a long way. And I always save stuff. Like, so when I did my last layout, I did a bunch of these on my old layout, and I kept them all. Yep. Might as well reuse it. I remember I was doing little control boards at that point. So I would have like a whole bunch of them on a piece of plywood. And then I would attach the plywood underneath, and then I would just run all my wires to it. Now well, depending on where, I think I have a bit of a different thing per section here, but in most cases I put those around the bottom, and because my yard and whatnot, and there being so many tracks in my yard, it was easy just to drop a feeder and then connect it to this, and then it would instantly have power. Use my little Otter Valley tool. So helpful. This is probably like one of the greatest tools that I have. I don't know if he still gives out little screwdrivers, but honestly, like I change couplers with this one, and sometimes I do other little screw things with it. And then this one is for these. Between that and what's that thing called? The gauge, the wheel and track gauge. Those are two tools that I use a lot. Now, of course, I'm splitting it up here. So I've got the red going from here this way, and I've got the white going this way. Those are your positives and your negatives. And I just have to go to the very ends with them. So what I'll do is, I do it like this on the underside. It'll be like this. And coming from this way, you've got a positive and a negative, and it runs right through this way. Now, either your front track on both of them is red or they're white. It doesn't matter, because you're just going to connect the white to here and the red to here. And then the wire that's going this way, because it's being cut here, you're going to take the red wire from here and you're going to plug it into here, and you'll take the white wire and plug it into here. That way your main bus is going right through the middle. I mean, you could really plug it in anywhere here and then plug the other one anywhere in here. But it's just easier because you got one wire here and one wire here. Same thing with at the end, where the rest of them you have two wires. So the one wire at each end or one wire in the middle. That's where I go. And I think I need one more of each here. And then this one will be done. So again, if anybody's just joining, I can't see because my computer is way over there. My video review of the Bachmann charger will be coming out tomorrow. And next week we'll be over on Mark's channel. Every Monday night, of course, we've got Mike and James over on Trackside Mike or Dundas Junction Model Railroad's channel. They're live at 7 o'clock. Always hilarious. Always a good time. And then we've got the brunch builds every single Sunday. You know, I've got kits to work on, so might as well work on kits. Does that one not want to work? It does not. It just means it's going to be ridiculous to get out of there. No, I don't have to remove it anyway, so it's good. It's going to be nice and tight. And we've got this one. Got to put that one in a little bit further. There we go. And then the final wire goes in the end here, even though I probably don't need 6. If I need to run another wire, like let's say, because there's supposed to be a track that goes up here, I can always drop feeders here, and then I already have extra spots for it. So it's better to have more than not enough in my time doing this anyways. I think James is probably having a heyday watching me do this because he's good at electrical and he's probably like, oh, that's painful to watch. I don't know. Again, like, you know, if it works, it works. If this didn't work, if my layout had major wiring issues, then I would be like, you know what, I need a new strategy. But if it works, you know, can't really complain. Okay. So, what I'm thinking is that this needs to be cut right here. And I almost don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. Because now the wires and the main bus is split. That's okay, it'll only be split for the next 5 minutes. And I kind of want to do this one where those are, so open this a little bit. And I'm going to open that one a little bit. This is technically the easy part. The hard part is adding the new feeders to the section that's needing the feeders. So, might as well do the easy part now. Cool. So I don't know if you can see this. Now you can. But we've got the main bus there that I cut. It was going right through. And I had some extra slack, so I cut it and then I added the white wire to the whites and then I added the red wire to the reds. And now I can use this side here with all the openings to add all the sidings and extra boost power feeders to make sure that I've got power everywhere. Cool, right? So I'm probably going to want to attach this somewhere too. Like here or something. I don't know yet. But I gotta... Okay, how does this go? Okay, so that goes like that. And we'll loop that one more time like that. And I talk to myself a lot, I'm sorry. Come by it honestly. Usually I have music going and whatever, but you can't because copyright and all that. Okay, now my bus is completely back together. And there should be no problems there with that. I do want to connect that or glue it more or less to this. I've got a 2x4 under here. And the 2x4 basically holds up to support. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this to it with hot glue, because you can use hot glue with this, and then I can just plug all the wires in as I go. So I'm going to need my hot glue and power. I'm gonna grab an extra glue stick. See who's all here. Hey, Larry. Hey, Doug. And yeah, we've got a bunch of people that are still here. Cool. Guess you guys are just waiting for me to burn down the house, huh? No. Okay, so I got the extra glue sticks. I'm just waiting for it to heat up a little bit so that I can attach the piece right to this 2x4 here. Of course, I got my solder here, my soldering iron, and my flux, because I'm gonna have to add some stuff here. But This is good. I'm doing this now because when the buildings are here, it's a heck of a time to get in here with the solder and whatnot and try to do this. So that's why I'm doing it now. Also, these buildings are going to go. I had another idea for this. Maybe I could talk about that while that's heating up. So this switch here, right? You got, this is main line going this way, and then this main line here goes this way. So this is basically where they come together, right? Down into single track. And yeah, there should technically be a signal system here to let you know if it's safe or not. But yeah, basically with this here, it's supposed to go this way. I don't know what to do here yet because I've had many different options here. What I am thinking is I've got the paper mill, the actual paper factory that you can get from Woodland Scenics. You know, it goes with those kits and, you know, and whatnot. And basically I want to cut it in half and put it right here. And then have this track go inside it. And then it disappears. And basically move the shipping and receiving area right beside it over here. So that, you know, you've got your processing over there, and then you've got shipping and delivery over here. Box cars can get dropped off here. There's not a lot of track space here, I'm going to be honest with you. Could probably do 2, maybe 3 at a time. It would just be 1 track going in, and that's it. But then I can line up a bunch of trucks here that would be ready to, you know, go out. And you can't see what's going on here. There's probably a road going through here. The road that I added right here, could always go up and around this way. So your trucks are going up that way, trucks are going over here. It makes more sense to put it here. You just got main line going right through. Typically you would have the whole thing over here. It's just how my layout is set up, really. Again, just kind of working with what I got. But yeah. And then I have to cover this up here. This won't be here. I have to cover all this up and do like a greenery. Because I got to kind of hide the fact that this is here. Because you're leaving this scene and you're going to another scene. And the bridge is kind of just in between. So I got to do that as well. Lots to do, but getting through it. Only thing I hate about glue guns are the little spider webs that it leaves. Okay, so I just needed, that's all I needed to do was just to tack that on there. So now whenever I drop a feeder, like these ones here, I'm measuring it by doing this. And I need about 2 or 3 more inches. So I'm going to cut this right here. So I just need a little bit exposed here. I don't need the whole thing. And I'm just going to strip the end of these. And I'm going to attach the white to the white. And if I want to save more room, I can do 2 per, just because of the size. But for now, I'm just going to do 1. And I'm going to keep doing that with all my feeders. It's great, and it's super easy on the 2nd and the 3rd level, because I'm either doing up here or right here. The bottom level, whole other ball game. I have to get under there, and you know, then I make a lot of grunting sounds and in my back. So that happens. Don't have the best back. Next set of wires. Where did I drill? The cool thing about this is that I usually use the exact same amount red and white, so I don't have like so much extra white on the end. It's you know, an even amount. Okay, so that was good to hear. And then I said I wanted to put feeders here. So that'll go right beside. Of course it has to go through foam as well, so that's a pain. But I'll make it work. Perfect. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I think this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to double them up. So I've already got the first set of 2 in there. So basically I've got a lot more of this bar available to me now than I was originally guesstimating. Because I said I would only need about 5, I think. And then there was 6. But now I'm going to have even more because I'm doubling up. And of course I'm going to test everything and whatnot once I solder it. Should be fine either way. Again, done this a bunch, so kind of used to it. And then this is just putting me one step further to, you know, getting this area done here. Just like the rest of your layout, bench work, main, you know, you run your feeders, you run your cork and your track, you drop your feeders, connect it to your bus line, test, and then, of course, scenery, which is the fun part. And it's unfortunate that scenery is like the last thing, because if I did scenery first, woof, I'd probably be done the layout by now. Because that's my bread and butter. I love doing the scenery stuff. Unfortunately, you got to do all this stuff first. Mind you, I like laying track and cork. It's fun, but scenery is definitely like if somebody built me a layout and then all I had to do was scenery. I'd be set. Even Sparky said, yo, come work on my layout. Come do, you know, and he's already got track and cork down. So maybe I should go over and do some scenery, because at least I don't have to worry about the wiring and whatnot. He's an electrician, for crying out loud, so he knows. He does all that stuff. So he gets to do the fun part, and then I get to do my fun part. So there you go. It's a win-win. Am I going to be able to reach those? Yes, but it's very difficult. So you don't even want to see all the wiring I got going on under here. And a big majority of that is due to the fact that I've got, and you can kind of see it here, I got on and off switches. So each of these are for each of these tracks here. And if you have power going to the layout, you flip it on, the light goes on, and that means your track has power. Those have power. But, you know, I need main track power going in order for these to work. And the only reason why I know how to do this is because Dave Co. showed me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to do cool stuff like that on the layout. Otherwise, I have no idea how to wire up these LEDs and do all that funky stuff. Crap. Okay, so how much further do I have to go? Longer than that. So maybe I cut it about here. Cool. Okay, so I made it all the way over to here. Doesn't matter if I have a little bit more extra because I can reach that stuff anyways. Now, none of this is on the main line as well, so I don't feel like I'm disturbing anything as well by working on this, because of the fact that, you know, oh, the main line's blocked, so now I can't run trains. Nope, not at all. I can still run trains, because this is all strictly just a yard. Do I have a bunch of cars laying down the way there? Yes. But because I was working down there anyways, I don't think I want to put the cars in there yet until that fully dries. Getting a lot done tonight, I think. I feel like I am. Doing some electrical, doing some scenery. I did a mail call. Still gonna have to figure out how to run that train or that car. I mean, like, obviously, you know, you have to put a locomotive to push it or pull it, right? But still. I think there was one more. So this here is covered by these. This up to here is covered with these. This up to here is covered with these. I got to do this one. And I think that was it, because I was originally going to do one here, but then I noticed that there's a feeder there already. I was on top of this one. That's how you know. Because there was already at least one feeder there. But these 4 feeders, the 4 feeders that I'm adding, the only reason why I'm adding them is because, you know, reassurance. I don't want something to give out or stop working just because I didn't put enough feeders. And when you have a switch, you need feeders on all sides of the switch, all 3 of them. And there's nothing worse than getting so far on something and then needing to start over or having to do the whole thing over. It's brutal. It's brutal. You don't want to be that guy. Don't be that guy. Sometimes you can't help it. This stuff ain't easy. But, you know, you can try and avoid it. Oh my gosh, go through. Okay, I've got one of them. And here's the other one. Okay, so I'm going to attach these feeders in, whether you can see it or not. I'm definitely doing that. And yeah, I've got 3 extra ports, 3 extra little things here where I can attach 3 more feeders if I wanted to, just to make sure, because I've got all the ones that I need to add. That's all these ones here, the ones that are sticking up, the 1, 2, 3, 4. So I only added 4 feeders here. But like I said, this piece here is going to need power, even though it's like, you know, car to nowhere. This corner gets very neglected. I don't know why, but it just does. Hey Larry, how's it going? Off the Tracks Monday. Yeah, we're on James's channel this Monday. make sure you go and subscribe to James and Trackside Mike, because they are, first off, awesome. Second of all, great content. And huge supporters of my channel, and I'm a huge supporter of their channel. They're like our Canadian counterparts. Okay, I think that's good for that. Let me grab a whatchamacallit, a file. Okay, where is that file? Oh, I'm going to show you something awesome as well. So, you guys know that I'm very busy doing a whole bunch of different projects and whatnot. One of the projects that I've been working on are doing pipe loads for my Rapido bulkhead flat cars. And there they are there. So I have these drinking straws and matchsticks, and I make little pipe loads. And I use string or rope from my Woodland Scenics telephone poles, because I've got an abundance of extra string. So I'm like, well, I could always wrap those loads with that. And I did. So yeah, there you go. I've got two cars done now. I like them. I have to make some for Mike, because I told him I would make him some, because I think he likes them too. So I have to do that at some point. I think I already have at least enough to do one load for him. So I'm going to do that. And I always wonder, am I going to be that guy that just makes loads for cars? Just weird loads? Nah. So I had to go get my files here, because there's certain points where there's a little bit of paint, and I want it to be able to stick. Telling you, this would be way easier if it was code 100, but it's not, so just kind of have to roll with the punches, I guess. This might be easier in some areas, but not all these areas. That's what I get for going ahead and painting the rail. You know. I'm using a very small round file, and I'm going right in the middle of the rail, because that's normally where I put all my feeders, and then once you paint it you can't even see that it's there. I can see it's there because I know it's there, but typically you're not supposed to be able to see it. Now again, before you solder these rails, you want to make sure, or wires to the rails, you want to make sure positive, negative, good, 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 good. Yeah, you know what I mean? The last thing you want to do is mess up your wiring. Yeah, my back hurts. I think it's because I've been standing too long. Probably. Wonder if I put this under here, if I tilt it a bit. There we go. And that way you can kind of see it better. Just waiting for the soldering iron to heat up a little bit there. See what you guys are saying. Let's see. DCC sound, it's the way to go. I remember once I found, because I grew up, you know, in the era of DC, right? Where there was no DCC sound. And then when I came back into the hobby, I'm seeing all these, you know, trains with sound, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's way cooler. Nothing wrong with DC, but just when you add sound, it's, you know, next level. Next level. I know there's lots of guys who do, you know, just regular DC or even N scale, just DC, because sound in N scale, I think it's a little bit tougher. I don't think there's as much. I know Rapido, when they were doing more N scale locomotives, they were doing it with sound, and they're doing a good job. But, you know, not every company is going to follow suit. I think when I did N scale for a small stint there, all my locomotives were DC, and I think that was a huge turning point there, where I was like, I'm not having as much fun because they're not making any sounds. So it's a tough call, but, you know, to each their own, right? Nothing wrong with it, it's just it's not for me. I'd much rather be making lots of noise with the trains. So I tin these. I'll put a little bit of solder right on. Well, I'll do it on both. I'll do some on my little snakes here, my feeders. They look like little snakes coming up and they're hissing. I tin them. And what happens is that it just makes it easier for it to connect to the rail. See, now they're shiny and silver. Also, in case you're wondering where my flux, Chris, where's your flux? It's in the center. It's a center flux core something. I forget what it's called. Anyways, there's flux in the center of it, so it does spread very nicely, I think, anyways. And it's very clean too. It's a very clean. Again, when you do this enough times. So what I like to do is I like to pull one down at a time, right to track level. And I'm going to use the back of this. I heat up the rail a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push that right up against there. And always make sure you're doing this on the outside of the rail, never on the inside. And that's for the simple reason that you do not want your wheel flange to hit it. Doesn't, well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do it much prettier than me, but that's okay. I don't think I did this one yet. Telling you though, if you like scenery, I love doing scenery, but when it comes to this, it's like I'm only doing it because I gotta do it. A lot of people also get a mirror and put a mirror right here so they can see this side of the track. I can see just over it, so I'm okay. Just in case anybody's saying anything in the chat there, because I know these are typical things that people will suggest. I can see it though, so I'm okay. I already got 2 feeders down, a couple more to go here, and then I think I've earned a cookie at that point. To be honest, I don't even think this side gets blasted with paint, because when I spray it, I'm spraying it like this, like in this general direction, so this side of the rail doesn't even get hit. So it's not even a big deal. Again, if anybody's going to be in Springfield, Massachusetts, for the Amherst show, let me know. I'm going. I will be there. Where the heck is this? Okay, that's that one. Okay, I'll just do it this way. Might be easier anyways. Let me know if you're going. I'll be there. I'll be there with Otter Valley and Trackside Mike will be there. Sparky's going to be there. He'll be there with Bernard from Mini Prints. Look at us, all us YouTube guys getting sucked into this. As if we mind. But yeah, we're all the YouTubers that are going. We're having a meet and greet at the Mini Prints booth at 12 o'clock noon on Saturday. So that has been I think that was decided by Bernard. And I don't get out to these shows often, so... In fact, this is my first time going. I missed out last year. Getting time off sometimes is ridiculous. So... Where did my little... Oh, there it is. As well, you want to make sure that this rail or that wire that's attached to this rail is not touching this rail and this wire. But I think that's pretty good. I got the 4 down. I've got 4 more to go here. Let's switch it up. Maybe you want to see from the other side now. I need a beverage, a cold beverage. Here we go. So we'll switch over, go that way. Hey, Russ, how's it going? Yeah, I've been doing, so I can kind of give you a overview of what I've been doing. Started at about 8 o'clock, did a mail call. And then I did all the lines here, the black lines, doing the ink to highlight the concrete. And then I added static grass to kind of show wear and tear. Yeah, only 4 more hours to go. Oh, it's 11? Jeez. Okay, well, I mean, I don't normally go to bed early anyways. I'll probably just finish those 4 wires and then call it. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And then we were talking a bit about down here, because I have a whole bunch of stuff down here to do, like this entire second half. But I wanted to add some extra feeders, which I did here, and now I'm here. And I showed the whole wiring of that and everything. And I forgot my file over here, so I gotta go get that now. There we go. This is a long section. It's a big section that I'm working on here, and you know, got a lot to do. Lots of little things, like 100 little jobs. And when you finish the 100 little jobs, you realize there's another 100 little jobs to do. And so the cycle continues. I don't need that anyways. And of course, I filed down the top here. I make sure the top is nice and flat as well. Ballast is going to cover that, so I'm not too worried. Can't see the feeders down there because I've got a whole bunch of feeders down that way to make sure that the straight sections here have enough power end to end, so that's cool. But, you know, going into the yard, or I guess it's a yard, it's kind of an industrial spur or whatever you want to call it. At this point, it's just the paper mill. I just say you're entering the paper mill. So when your car is going to the paper mill, you've got to make sure that there's enough power there to run everything. And I'm just scraping off a little bit of paint right now. Because I guess at the time, I thought it was enough. I thought it was enough feeder-wise or power-wise or whatever you want to call it. Probably do it closer to this way. And of course, the best part, which comes right after this, when I get to test it, and if anything drops anywhere, then I'm going to be real sad. But, you know, might be the loco, might be the rails not being clean. You know, there could be a number of things here that happen. So I just want to pre-warn you for that. Pre-warn you for the disappointment. Where did they go? There it is. Again, I'm going to have to... One last one here. I think I already cleaned this route, but I'm just going to do it one more time just to make sure. Now, technically, the way that I have this, the main line anyways, or the, I guess in this case, the negative, is consistent through here. So there's no break in the rail where the negative is, just where the positive is. So the positive goes to my switches, and then from there, I decide whether or not there's power going to the track. And I should probably have a bit of a smaller feeder as well, but because this is such a weird section here, that'll hold. Cool. All right, now the best part. What's the best part, you say? Get to test it. But I want to just quickly run the little file over top of sections. Question is, what locomotive should I use? That's a little bit of a bump there. I haven't ran my cleaning car in here in a while. I need more of the little cleaning pads for it. But it's a very, very useful tool. And I think I'll start off going with the straight and then we'll go from there. Let me see what locomotives I can use. I think I'm gonna have to use my Bowser, because Bowser is one of my favorites. So I think I'm gonna have to do one of these. And he's gonna switch out. Well, not switch out, but he's definitely gonna be working with these here. Cool. Okay. So hopefully this goes well. Yeah. Let's see how well this goes. I'm gonna push that back, and I'm gonna grab my controller. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so we're plugged in, and I don't think I have anything bad on the tracks that would stifle this whole thing. Put you up there so you can see. So then we're gonna go. Okay, we're gonna leave that one. So then you want to go logo 3052 logo. Okay, so that's far. So we want to go track on. I can hear the locomotive over on the other side going. Let's see, what person's covers. Yeah, this FURX is one of my favorites. Now it is a Bowser, so it's automatically a win for me. Probably dirty track. Okay, so let's see how it is when we go into here. Come on. Dirty, dirty, dirty track. What? Oh, because I didn't put on the... That'll help. Okay. See what I mean? So it's probably this one here. Nope. So I have them all mixed up. So that was, I gotta switch them around. You can tell because I'm not even done my fascia yet, so that's probably why that's like that. So now I want to reverse, and I want to see if I can go down into the next one. I really have to clean this track though. That's a big part of this here. And I always use hand throws in my yard sections like this because I have to add that level of realism, you know, go up and actually throw the switch. Come on. The one place I didn't clean, which is where the locomotive is going to be. The main line. Come on. Don't be shy. Wow. Definitely doesn't stall or anything going in. And technically this would have been a dead rail. Same thing with this, because of the fact that they disconnect at that point. RTC, da-da-da-da-da. Contact. I need more of these Aurora box cars. And I need to clean my track apparently. I really like them. And I'm super excited for the GATX, which should be next month? Yeah, definitely need to clean that track. Oh my gosh, I should have just cleaned it. If I knew you were going to give me that much of a hard time. Come on. Actually, I might as well do this while this is here. Come on. All right. Well, that was fun. I got a lot done tonight. And you guys got to hang out and watch me do it all. So that's cool. I really appreciate it. And I always have fun doing this. Sorry about the shaky camera there. Did you guys catch the Via? If you didn't, you know, don't worry. I got a full review coming out tomorrow. It's well past my bedtime, so I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to say goodnight to everyone. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out. Honestly, like, I'm very happy with how that's turned out. I feel like I can ballast the rest of the way now, but I just got to figure out how the buildings are going to go first, and then that way I can kind of continue on along there and you know, just get more of this done, knock it out of the park, and have to clean up all this, all the grass clippings, right? Yeah, still so much to do. But you'll be along every step of the way, and you get to hang out while I do it. So until next time, I'm Go Via Go Home. The Via charger from Bachmann, the review goes up tomorrow. And then Sunday is the brunch build. Monday is trackside mic and jeans. And then we'll be over on Mark's channel next Thursday for Third Rail Thursday, because that happens all the time. That's how it goes. And this is how you can tell I'm tired. Good night, everybody. I've got a train to catch, and it's probably the sleeper car that I need to look for. So.